One thing that's typically overlooked in home design is three-dimensional architecture. So what I mean by that is we live in a three-dimensional world. There's width, height, depth. We communicate on paper, which only has two dimensions, width, height. And so we're so hung up on the paper, we forget about the depth. When we're building the house and we're designing the front elevation, we draw it on a piece of paper and it's two-dimensional and we forget about the side. But when we're living in the space, we're seeing the side. And particularly in Kansas City, where there's a tendency to just do the front and then the back and sides or just have siding or something on them, it's really ridiculous actually. And then you drive down the street and people say, well, you won't see that but it's not like you don't see the side of somebody. It's all flat people walking around the world or something. And it becomes the house is kind of a parody of a stage front. And on the inside, a fireplace is typically just some detail and trim and maybe some non-combustible material along the front, and it's basically a hole in the wall. It's a two-dimensional item. And our cabinets, we just trim out the fronts, but we just put a flat board on the side of the cabinet. And that's just not the way the world is. In three-dimensional architecture, you finish the sides of the cabinet the same way you did the front. And the fireplace is an element like a piano would be. It has a depth, and you see the depth. These fireplaces that kind of stick out like an island in between spaces as a break, sort of a barrier between spaces, but not a wall. So an example of three-dimensional architecture are the way these doors are. The doors are of alder, and they continue that are for the closet, but then they are also applied to start into the cabinet, which also blurs the distinction between the hall and the kitchen where the cabinets are to give more of a feeling of space. Then that material with the alder and the panels and the design of the doors is recreated all the way around until you get to this inside corner. Because three-dimensional objects have three sides, so now you went here and there, and then you go back. And at that point, that three-dimensional mass has been defined and you can change material. So then we change materials, in this case to hickory, a new type of three-dimensional object continued. For instance, this island, it's instead of just looking like a cabinet with a countertop on it, it's designed to look like a three-dimensional object, in this case, a tabletop. You have this band of trim detail which emulates the drawers, which continue over here. You've really got two different design elements going. You've got the fact that the drawers are designed to look like a banding, which is something that draws your eye around. You've got the fact that that banding repeats on the side of the element, even though it's not drawers, so that it looks three-dimensional. This oven cabinet, similarly, as you can see, it starts on the inside corner, comes around, back, and even returns all the way back the other side. So all four sides of this oven cabinet are detailed the same. It doesn't just feel like it's an oven that's shoved like back into the wall. It's this three-dimensional object. Now the fireplace is easy to see. It's all just one unit. But so often a fireplace is just a hole in a wall for the firebox with some trim applied on the front. And all of that kind of fakeness of just flat, which is really driven a lot by the fact that we do our designs on paper, which is two-dimensional, and while we're thinking about the designs, we're not thinking about we're living in a three-dimensional world. We end up with this sweet little flat fake things like paper doll.